Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something right now. How many years are you going to wait before you finally decide to change your life? How many dreams are sitting inside you dying quietly because you keep saying, one day? Listen to me carefully. Success is not about luck, talent, or perfect timing. Success is about action. Massive, relentless, uncomfortable action. Because the truth is simple. If you keep doing what you've always done, you will keep getting what you've always gotten. Your life changes the moment you stop waiting and start moving. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow, tomorrow becomes next week becomes next year, and before you realize it, your dreams have been sitting on the sidelines while life keeps moving forward without you. Here's the truth most people avoid hearing. Waiting is one of the most dangerous habits in the world because while you are waiting for the perfect moment, someone else is taking action, learning from failure, growing stronger, and building the life you wish you had. The biggest gap between successful people and unsuccessful people is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is the willingness to move before they feel ready. Most people think motivation comes first and action comes second. That is completely backwards. Action creates motivation. Action creates confidence. Action creates momentum. Think about it. No athlete feels unstoppable before training. No entrepreneur feels certain before starting a business. And no leader feels fearless before stepping onto the stage. They become powerful because they move despite uncertainty. The moment you take the first step, your energy changes. Your mindset changes. Your identity begins to change. Suddenly, you are no longer someone who only talks about goals. You become someone who is actually chasing them. Here's the hook. Your future's built by the actions you take when you do not feel like taking action. Anyone can move when they feel inspired. Champions move when they are tired, uncertain, and uncomfortable. That is what separates ordinary people from extraordinary people. Comfort is expensive. Every day you stay inside your comfort zone, you pay for it with lost opportunities, unrealized potential, and dreams that slowly fade away. Success demands movement. It demands courage. It demands the ability to act before all the answers appear. Too many people waste years overthinking. They analyze every possibility, every risk, every obstacle, until fear completely paralyzes them. But successful people understand something powerful. Clarity does not come from thinking. Clarity comes from doing. You discover your path while walking it. You learn by failing. You grow by struggling. You become stronger by facing resistance instead of avoiding it. The people who win in life are not the people with the least fear. They are the people who refuse to let fear stop them. Imagine what your life could look like if you stopped waiting for permission. Imagine the opportunities, the confidence, the growth, and the success that could appear the moment you finally decide to. Move one action can create a chain reaction that changes everything. One phone call can open a new door. One decision can transform your future. One bold step can introduce you to a completely different life. But none of it happens while standing still. Motion creates momentum, and momentum creates results. The moment you stop waiting and start moving, your entire life begins to shift in a new direction. But fear has stopped more dreams than failure ever will. Think about that for a moment. Most people are not defeated because they lack talent or opportunity. They're defeated because they allow fear to control their decisions. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of being judged by others. These invisible fears quietly keep people trapped in lives they were never meant to live. But here is the powerful truth. Fear loses its power the moment you take action, not when you think about action, not when you plan for action, the moment you move. Most people spend years waiting to feel confident before they begin. They believe confidence magically appears first and then action follows. But confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence is something you build. Every successful person you admire once stood exactly where you are now, uncertain, nervous, and afraid. The difference is they refused to let fear make their decisions. They understood a secret that changes everything. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in spite of it. Here's the hook. Your fears grow when you stand still, but they shrink when you move forward. The longer you avoid something, the bigger and more terrifying it becomes in your mind. A difficult conversation, a new business idea, a public speech, a life-changing decision. All of these feel overwhelming when they exist only in your imagination. But once you take the first step, something incredible happens. Your mind realizes you're stronger than the fear itself. Action interrupts doubt. Action weakens anxiety. Action rewires the way you see yourself. Think about learning how to swim. No amount of reading about swimming removes the fear of water. At some point, you must step into the pool. Life works the same way. You cannot think your way into courage. You must act your way into courage. Every small action becomes proof that you are capable. Every challenge you face builds emotional strength. Every uncomfortable moment expands your confidence. That is why people who consistently take action appear fearless, not because they never feel fear, but because they have trained themselves not to obey it. Too many people let fear convince them to stay comfortable, but comfort has never created greatness. Nothing extraordinary is built inside a safe zone. Growth begins the moment you are willing to feel uncomfortable. The entrepreneur risks failure to create success. The athlete pushes through pain to become stronger. The leader speaks up despite fear of criticism. Every breakthrough in life comes from someone deciding that temporary discomfort is worth long-term transformation. The most dangerous thing about fear is not the pain it creates today. It is the future it steals from you tomorrow. Every opportunity ignored, every dream delayed, every chance avoided slowly becomes regret. And regret is far heavier than fear. Fear lasts for a moment. Regret can last a lifetime. The people who transform their lives are not the ones who wait until fear disappears. They are the ones who decide that their goals matter more than their excuses. The second you take action, you send a message to yourself that fear no longer controls your future. Your life changes the moment you make a real decision. Not a weak wish, not an excuse-filled promise, a true decision, because a decision backed by commitment has the power to completely transform your future. Most people spend years hoping life will improve, but hope without action changes nothing. Successful people understand something different. Destiny is not created by chance. It is created by choice. Every result you experience today is connected to the decisions you made yesterday, and the decisions you make today will shape the person you become tomorrow. Here's the hook. One decision can alter the entire direction of your life forever. One moment of courage can open doors you never imagined possible. Think about it. One decision to start a business can create financial freedom. One decision to improve your health can extend your life. One decision to walk away from negativity can protect your peace. One decision to believe in yourself can unlock opportunities that fear once kept hidden. Life does not always change slowly. Sometimes everything changes because you finally decide you will no longer settle for less than you deserve. The problem is that most people treat decisions casually. They say they want success, but they continue making choices that lead toward comfort, distraction, and excuses. They want confidence, but they avoid difficult situations. They want growth, but they fear change. The truth is simple. Your actions reveal your real decisions. Words mean nothing without commitment behind them. A true decision eliminates alternatives. It creates focus, urgency, and movement. When someone genuinely decides to change, their behavior changes immediately. Look at the most successful people in the world. Their breakthrough did not begin with perfect conditions. It began with a decision to stop blaming circumstances, a decision to stop waiting for permission, a decision to take ownership of their future. They reached a moment where staying the same became more painful than changing. That is where transformation begins. Human beings change when they decide they are no longer willing to tolerate an average life. Too many people allow fear to make decisions for them. Fear says, stay safe. Fear says, what if you fail? Fear says, you are not ready. But every major achievement in life requires a leap beyond certainty. Nobody feels completely ready when they step into something bigger. The difference is that leaders move anyway. They understand that growth is impossible without risk. Every powerful decision carries discomfort because every new level in life demands a stronger version of you. Your destiny is shaped in the small moments nobody sees. The decision to wake up earlier, the decision to stay disciplined when motivation disappears, the decision to continue when things become difficult. Success is not one giant moment. It is thousands of small decisions made consistently over time, and every disciplined choice builds a stronger identity eventually. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wants success and start becoming someone who expects it. The most powerful thing about decisions is that they instantly shift your direction. You may not see results overnight, but the moment you decide to move forward, your future begins to change. Because when your standards rise, your mindset rises. When your mindset rises, your actions improve. And when your actions improve, your entire life starts moving toward a different destination. Most people are waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect opportunity, and the perfect conditions before they take action. But here's the truth that separates winners from everyone else. Perfection is one of the biggest lies holding people back from success. While people are busy overthinking every detail, life keeps moving forward. Opportunities disappear. Confidence fades. Dreams stay trapped inside imagination. The people who achieve extraordinary results are not the ones who always have the perfect strategy. They are the ones willing to move before everything feels certain. Here's the hook. Imperfect action will always defeat perfect hesitation every single time, because success is not built through endless preparation. It is built through execution. You do not learn confidence by planning. You learn confidence by doing. Think about every successful athlete, entrepreneur, artist, or leader. None of them started as experts. They began with uncertainty, mistakes, and incomplete knowledge. But they understood something powerful. Progress comes through movement, not perfection. Too many people are addicted to preparation because preparation feels safe. Planning gives the illusion of productivity without the risk of failure. But there comes a moment when planning becomes procrastination in disguise. Some people spend years getting ready for a dream they never actually pursue. They read books, watch videos, attend seminars, and talk endlessly about their goals. But they never take the leap. Someone with less knowledge but more courage moves forward, learns through experience, and eventually succeeds. The truth is that no amount of preparation can fully prepare you for real life. Business teaches you by doing business. Leadership teaches you by leading people. Confidence grows by facing challenges, not avoiding them. You cannot steer a parked car. Momentum only appears when you begin moving. Even small action creates energy. Once you take the first step, the next step becomes easier. But if you remain frozen waiting for certainty, you remain trapped exactly where you are. Fear often disguises itself as perfectionism. People say, I'm just waiting until everything is ready. But deep inside, they are terrified of failure, judgment, or making mistakes. Yet mistakes are not signs of weakness, they are signs of growth. Every successful person has failed repeatedly. The difference is they failed forward. They use setbacks as lessons instead of excuses to quit. Perfectionists avoid failure so much that they avoid progress. Altogether, the action takers understand that every mistake contains valuable experience that pushes them closer to success. Look at the most successful companies, leaders, and innovators in the world. Their first attempt was rarely perfect. Their first speech was not flawless. Their first product was not revolutionary. Their first idea was not fully developed, but they improved because they kept moving. Excellence is built through repetition, adaptation, and persistence. You refine your skills while taking action, not while standing still. The greatest opportunities in life often belong to the people who are willing to begin before they feel completely ready. Because action creates clarity. Action creates confidence. Action creates growth. Waiting for perfection only delays your potential. The people who transform their lives are the ones who understand that success rewards courage, consistency, and movement far more than flawless preparation. Excuses are dangerous because they sound reasonable. They make people feel comfortable while quietly destroying their potential. Every excuse gives temporary relief, but over time, those same excuses become the chains that keep people trapped. In an average life, I don't have enough time, I'm not ready yet, the economy is bad, I don't have the right connections. These phrases may sound harmless, but the moment you repeatedly accept excuses, you begin training yourself to believe that your circumstances are more powerful than your dreams. Here's the hook. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you take your power back, because excuses shift responsibility away from you, and when responsibility disappears, growth disappears with it. Successful people understand a principle that changes everything. You cannot control every situation in life, but you can always control your response. The people who rise to extraordinary levels are not people with perfect conditions. They are people who refuse to let obstacles define their future. Most people spend more energy explaining why they cannot succeed than actually trying to succeed. They become experts at justifying failure before they even begin. But excuses do not create progress. Excuses do not build confidence. Excuses do not change your life. Action does, responsibility does, discipline does. The harsh reality is that nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody's going to wake up every day and fight for your dreams on your behalf. Your future depends on your willingness to take ownership of your life, even when circumstances are difficult. Think about the most successful individuals in the world. Almost every one of them faced pain, rejection, setbacks, criticism, and disadvantages. Some came from poverty, some failed repeatedly, some were doubted by everyone around them, but they refused to use their struggles as excuses to quit. Instead, they used adversity as fuel. They understood that challenges are not roadblocks, they are opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The truth is that excuses feel safe because they protect the ego. If you never truly try, you never risk failure. But avoiding failure also means avoiding growth. Every excuse keeps you inside a comfort zone where nothing changes. And comfort may feel good today, but over time it becomes one of the greatest prisons in life. Dreams die in comfort. Potential disappears in comfort. Greatness is created when people push beyond excuses and decide to act despite fear, difficulty, or uncertainty. One of the biggest differences between average people and high performers is mindset. Average people ask, why is this happening to me? High performers ask, what can I do about it? That simple shift changes everything. When you focus on solutions instead of problems, your mind becomes stronger. You stop seeing obstacles as permanent barriers and start seeing them as temporary challenges that can be overcome. Every excuse you remove increases your personal power. The moment you stop blaming your past, your environment, or other people, you begin building a mindset capable of real success. Because responsibility is not a burden, it is taking freedom. It means your future is no longer controlled by circumstances. It is controlled by your decisions, your actions, and your willingness to rise no matter what stands in your way. Your life will never rise above the standards you're willing to accept. Read that again carefully. Every result you experience today, your mindset, your habits, your discipline, your success, your relationships, your health is connected to the standards you've chosen for yourself. Most people talk about wanting a better life, but very few are willing to raise the standards required to create one. They want success while remaining comfortable. They want growth without sacrifice. They want extraordinary results while maintaining average habits. But life does not reward wishes. Life responds to standards. Here's the hook. The quality of your future is hidden inside the standards you practice every single day. Standards are not the things you say occasionally when you feel motivated. Standards are the behaviors you consistently refuse to compromise on. Anyone can feel inspired for a few hours. Anyone can set goals during moments of excitement. But high standards are revealed when motivation disappears and discipline takes over. That is where real transformation begins. The most successful people in the world operate by a different mindset. They refuse to tolerate mediocrity from themselves. They demand excellence in their work ethic, their focus, their health, their mindset, and the way they carry themselves. They understand something powerful. If you lower your standards, life lowers its rewards. But when you raise your standards, your entire identity begins to shift. You stop accepting excuses. You stop settling for less. You stop living based on convenience and start living based on purpose. Think about athletes competing at the highest level. Their success is not built only during championships. It is built through standards practiced daily behind the scenes, waking up early when nobody is watching, training when they feel tired, staying disciplined when distractions appear. The same principle applies to every area of life. Greatness is never accidental. It is the result of repeated standards maintained over time. Most people underestimate how dangerous low standards can be. Low standards slowly destroy confidence because deep inside, you know you are capable of more. Every time you break promises to yourself, avoid responsibility, or settle for average effort, your self-respect weakens. Over time, people begin doubting themselves, not because they lack ability, but because they have stopped trusting their own discipline. Confidence is built when your actions align with your highest standards. The moment you decide to raise your standards, difficult choices become easier. You no longer ask, do I feel like doing this? Instead, you ask, is this aligned with the person I want to become? That shift changes everything. Strong standards create strong habits create strong character, and strong character creates long-term success. There will always be people who choose comfort over growth. They will tell you to slow down, lower your ambitions, and stay realistic. But extraordinary lives are built by people who refuse to stay average, people who demand more from themselves than the world expects from them, people who continue improving even after achieving success because they understand that growth is a lifelong commitment. The standards you choose today are shaping the person you're becoming tomorrow. If you expect greatness from your life, you must first expect greatness from yourself. Because the moment your standards rise, your mindset rises, your actions improve, your discipline strengthens, and your entire future begins moving toward a higher level